Hello, this is Simon, and this is Maia 0.47. So we'll start a fresh game. Base looks like a usual setup, but there's one big change, and that's placing rooms. You now place a blueprint, which has to be built by the colonists. So we'll place down a workshop, as usual, and we'll dig out some areas over here, and here, which will give us some space to build another room or two, and place a door here so we can get through to it. You notice that the door placement's a lot better now. It's a ray intersection test with the walls of the room. That allows us to place things arbitrarily on walls, which will be cool for things like lights and clocks and monitors and stuff. As you see, they place down scaffolds when they're building a room, and then once the room is full of scaffolding, after a few seconds, they'll complete the room. You have to be careful about building doors because they can now build themselves into a room which they can't escape from. So make sure you always give them doors, otherwise they'll go insane in these dark rooms. So build a nanoscale printer for the imps. As you can see, they've got a lot more kind of idle animations now, which means they have things to do other than going to eat and drink. You'll see them sitting down on the floor, which means that they can kind of rest a little bit. They'll get a little less fatigued, but then they'll get hypothermia from sitting on the floor for too long. So placing some solar arrays, because I want to show you another new item, which is the flywheel energy storage, which uses a spinning disk to store energy, and if you store a spinning disk in a vacuum, it never loses that rotational energy, and so you can store quite a lot of energy on it. It's not as good as the supercapacitor, but it does give you a lower tech way to store energy in the early game. So they're building that now. So you can make a viable base now using their solar panels. So let's place a living area, so we can place some beds in the future. And so where's the imp? Oh, there he is. Yeah. So he's digging that out so we can create a bigger storage room. Since you can place more things in it, we probably need some more space for the building materials that we want to collect. As you can see, the energy storage system is finished now, and it gives you a readout of the grid. So if you want to know how much energy is coming in and out of the grid, you can always mouse over it. So they're building that, so I think if we keep an eye on it, we'll see it start to charge up. You'll notice a glitch on the imp just then. That's caused by me forcing 30 frames per second for the video capture. I think I'm going to start doing some nice 60 frames per second videos. So there you go, you've got the power come on, and that's going to start storing up energy. And much like the supercapacitor, it's got a lighting system, so if you want to roughly gauge how much energy it has, you can always... There you go, it's come on. As you can see, it's starting to light up. So we'll place a bed, so our guys don't die of fatigue or hypothermia. And let's place some hydroponics, I think. The hydroponics are improved now. They generate a lot more atmosphere based on how fast they're growing and how much light and energy they're taking in, which means they're much more viable for creating atmosphere in your base. If you have maybe 6 or 7 of them or a whole room of them, you can actually start thinking about whether you could start turning off your atmosphere generators and just using the trees to actually generate enough air for your guys to breathe. So we've just extended this room. That'll give us more room for the minerals and stuff. You notice you can mouse over bits of the walls now. There you go, there's one of the colonists just having to sit down on the ground. So she'll gain a little bit of energy back from that, but she'll also get cold, which means that she'll spend more kilojoules on thermoregulation, and her body will eventually start moving towards hypothermia. But she won't die of fatigue as quick. So one of the other things is you can build airlocks now, and the AI is now properly using multiple airlocks and will path through them quite well. We don't really need this for that base yet, but it's worth mentioning. So let's build some hydroponics trees. 2 for now. That'll be good enough for food, but not really enough to generate a sizable amount of atmosphere. Talking about atmosphere, you need to be aware of the chickens now. The chicken AI is gone back to the old build that we had during the Kickstarter, so they're sensitive to light, and they'll go find warm places to go and reproduce. The chickens now do use atmosphere, so they breathe the atmosphere, and that means that if you are not careful, you can asphyxiate your entire base by creating a huge swarm of chickens. Although we have slowed down the breeding rate somewhat. And your colonists will now eat them for food too. So just check if there are any dangers to our base quickly. So there's the new proto-birds, I'll talk about them later. And we've got the Megacephs just wandering around, so nothing to worry about at the moment. We can actually call down more colonists, so let's do that. So they're building our research room quickly for us. And one of the other things I wanted to mention is the new base announcer, so she'll announce if there are specific problem area rooms. So for example, I forgot to build an atmosphere generator in the base, so...
Atmosphere low in.
And she can say specifically for individual rooms as well, which is cool. Also the new proto-birds, which will come into your base and they'll steal and kill animals and chickens and stuff. Those are certainly worth keeping an eye on now. You'll need to build turrets for kind of mature colonies of an hour or so, because they will come into your base once they've figured out that you're harbouring chickens. Anyway, I will leave it here for now, and we'll see you at Maia 0.48. Bye.